one of the top 100 movies of all time, and is having a re-release by AFI in November, and a movie that I did called The Driver with Ryan O'Neal is having a re-release at the Egyptian Theater in October.
Hey guys, Vigo Hughes. I'm in between acting projects at the moment, but I've kind of been dabbling in cinematography. Nothing I'm really putting my name out there on just yet, just kind of learning, getting my feet wet. But it's been fun. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to stay up to date, and we'll be posting some stuff coming up here in the next year, hopefully.
All right, let's get some questions. Ready? All right, I saw your hand first, and then we'll go over here. Yes, sir.
This is for Lisa and Robert. In 90210, which is ultimately the best out of the whole series. Yes. Do you think, in your opinion, Alice was the worst nightmare for Freddy Krueger? We know Rick didn't make it with his awesome moves.
He cheated. He cheated.
What's your opinion is, do you think that Alice was the worst nightmare for Freddy?
Well, the only time I was ever hurt filming on a Nightmare on Elm Street film was filming with Lisa on Nightmare 5, in the church sequence. And Lisa's double, Lisa and I rehearsed and her double rehearsed. And I think had it been Lisa instead of her double, I would have been all right. But the double was doing other things, and when we came to shoot, she stood in for Lisa and raced down between the pews, and she was off her marks. And so in order to keep myself from stabbing her and probably preventing her from ever having children, I had the real claw on. I stabbed myself instead. So in those terms, yes, Lisa Wilcox is the most dangerous of all my leading ladies. That's my sister.
Next question, we have one right here. You have a question? Yes.
I have a question for Robert England. 1992, NBC aired a show called Nightmare Cafe, and it got canceled because they said it was due to poor ratings. Do you ever think that they might revamp that?
Well, it wasn't really canceled because of poor ratings. We were made the sacrificial lamb for a wonderful, brilliant show that was dealing with historical racial issues called I'll Fly Away, starring Alfre Woodward and Sam Waterston. Well, they canceled that show too. So they actually lost 2 terrific shows. No, our ratings were in the 40s. We were solid in the 40s all the time.
Which would have been great.
Which these days means you're a hit.
Yeah. Right.
No, I was real disappointed. I mean, Nancy, my wife, and I, we were literally looking, you know, at houses in West Vancouver. We loved it up there so much. And I worked, you know, the wonderful actor, Jack, I'm forgetting Jack's last name.
Colvin.
What?
Jack Colvin?
No, what's Jack's name? Jack, Heroes, the star of Heroes. The father. Say the cheerleader, her father. Jack Coleman. Oh, I thought you said Holden. Jack Coleman. I'm sorry, I've lost my ear here. Jack Coleman, terrific actor, and it was just great working with Jack and Lindsay Frost. Every week we had different guest stars on that show.
The show was great.
It was kind of you know, ahead of its time. To this day, people say it had the best front titles of any show they've ever seen. Obviously not better than Westworld anymore, but really good titles. And I mean, I got to work with Angela, just terrific actors, you know, on that show. And it, you know, you win a few, you lose a few, and that's one that I lost. And that's the show I became really close with Wes on. And a quick story, because you know our Wes is gone now, but that's when Wes really became my friend and not my boss. And I brought him over to the house one night, and we all got drunk and watched SNL. And it was the episode with the Head Wound Harry sketch. And Wes peed his pants and laughed and fell off the couch like the big kid that he is inside. And he let me see him like that. You know, he let me see him laughing hysterically at a silly sketch, you know, at midnight, you know, in Vancouver in my little funny apartment. And that's my memory that I keep looping. of Wes, you know, so I don't get too sad. I just lost Toby Hooper too.
Yeah.
And I've done 5 movies with Toby.
Right.
And, you know, these guys were friends and brilliant guys, and you could always call them. And, you know, we've lost 2 great talents there, you know, almost back to back. Anyway, no, it'll never come back because it was Wes. It was
Yeah.
conceived by Wes, yeah, and
That
Wes
is
is
true.
gone.
All right, little man, right there, little guy, yeah. Can you scream it out? Yeah, you, sir, absolutely. Can you scream it out? What's your question?
Who won in Freddy versus Jason?
Now, what was it one more time, sir?
If the big dog takes a nap,
Yeah.
I'll get him.
There you go. All right. I see a Freddy Krueger hat all the way in the back. Go ahead, stand up. Yes, what's your question?
Alright, well first of all, say you're like for hard work. My question, for my brother Rollins, let me ask you this question.
You can tone it down just a little.
How controversial it is? Do you consider Nightmare on Elm Street 2 an A part canon? Because it's never mentioned throughout the series.
Do I consider it a what?
Canon, part of the canon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we violated a rule. Joanne can maybe elaborate on this too. We violated a rule on that one. We took Freddy out of the dream, and I always hate it when I have to wrestle around with it. I mean, Freddy can like walk through walls, and he has to wrestle around with one of his leading ladies. It's always, but I mean, I always sort of had that. I kind of made it a Beauty and the Beast thing. Like maybe he liked it, but. But that was the rule we wrote, but there are absolutely seminal, iconic images and dialogue in that movie. And, you know, we dealt with, there's a sexual subtext in that film that was very ahead of its time. And I really think that that's one that Michael Bay and his people at Platinum Dunes should consider remaking, because I think now you could really play with that and make it about, you know, bullying. You know, the subject of bullying that we're all dealing with in society now. And I think it would be real interesting to remake that. And leave Freddy in the dream. You know, but some of Freddy's best lines are in that movie. I almost caught on fire walking out that hedge. That was really me. My stuntman got a line, and as we all know up here, you know, when you get your first, there's a point when you get a certain amount of words that you say as a non-union actor, that you get your union card. And the stuntman got his union card that night, and I love the guy. He was doubling me in a lot of the fire stunts. So I did that fire stunt, you know, which was stupid, because hours later, after we had to shut down in Pasadena because they don't let you work past 10 o'clock at night, I'm in the trailer alone with Kevin Yeager, and we couldn't get my makeup off. It had seared to me, yeah, because of the fire stunt. So it took us all night to get the makeup off, and it was way down and melted into my ear. It was like crazy, yeah.
You know, speaking of breaking rules, someone came up to my table earlier today, and they brought up something that has always troubled me, and I would love to get a take on this. So, when I die, Lisa, in the real world, screams, because her brother's dead, she knows this, and the windows explode from the schoolhouse. And that happens in the real world. Now, isn't that the same thing as the rules that were broken into?
I'll handle that one.
Thanks, Mick.
Mick's rule of production design. There are times that you do things just because it's cool.
Now, is that your philosophy given to Rennie Harlan, and then he took it on to the rest of his career, or is that?
But Lisa is the conduit of the dream.
Rennie Harlan wasn't cool until he worked with me.
But see, this is the thing. But then, how come they didn't start treating her like Carrie? Because she has the power now to blow things up with her mind.
Badass.
I always thought it was her grief.
I think I was
could be
still
overthinking
dreaming.
this.
I believe I was still dreaming
Okay.
when I screamed and hit the desk and the glass comes. I'm dreaming. I'm having a nightmare.
Oh, because that's in the nightmare.
Because the next moment, all of a sudden, I'm like, Sheila, Sheila.
Okay, well, thank you. We've never discussed
And
this,
you see
Lisa.
me.
And I am so glad.
I am so glad after 29 years we get to this. Little brother. But when you think about it, you see me falling asleep in the classroom, okay, head is on the desk, and then I dream of your death, you
Yeah.
dying, the cheerleaders and all
Yeah.
that, but then I wake, I scream, woken up, and now Sheila has died.
Wait a second. The cheerleaders are in the real world.
In the bathroom?
Yes, the bathroom's in the real world. I actually died on the toilet like Elvis and Lenny Bruce. I didn't die in the dojo. Right? It's so confusing, this
Dream.
movie. That's why people love it, right?
Dream. No, you died when you were doing your karate.
When the cheerleaders came in, you were already asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were sleeping.
Oh, you're right.
You're not, you didn't die then, honey.
I'm so confused.
Thank you. Thank you for this little moment of therapy. I
died in 3 and came back in 4.
I came back from dog urine.
I come up with an idea, because in part 5, people always ask me on Facebook, like, they always say, didn't any of those teenagers ask you about the 5 teenagers that died last year? You're like, isn't that a little odd? No, it's normal.
All right.
That's Springfield.
I saw a question right here, sir. Yes.
I go from Robert. Any chance of you showing up on Ash vs. Evil Dead?
No, I think you know what happened to that is we left some money on the table after Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason was a humongous hit. And what happened is right after that, New Line was sold to Time Warner, Ted Turner. And then they gave the franchise,